Selfishly,
Starting the stream, just so you know.
shout out to the HIV/AIDS Coalition and Senator Dibble
Yeah.
to kiss ass.
Okay, we are live, so you guys can share, and then we'll start as soon as you guys tell me, I guess.
We can start
Okay.
anytime, but I will share.
No, I did too.
Good Lord.
Support for Wrong About Everything comes from Minnesota's credit unions. Credit unions are locally based, member-owned financial cooperatives that return earnings to members through higher savings rates, lower loan rates, and reduced fees. Visit mncun.org for more information.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Wrong About Everything podcast. I am Republican strategist and Twin City Sugar, Brian McDaniel.
I am former Republican Senate Majority Leader Amy Koch.
And I am Minneapolis cultural correspondent Allison Nessie.
And I am Democratic strategist and the Puerto Rican heat, Javier Murillo.
And we are
Wrong About Everything.
What are you now, Allison?
This week a cultural correspondent and Katy Perry stalker, borderline.
I know. You are to Katy Perry as Rochelle is to St. Paul.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Stay
What are we
tuned.
going to spank this week?
Well, everybody, welcome
Let
to...
me guess. Is it Trudeau? Is it Trudeau? Did I just?
Don't step on people's...
Don't step on our space.
I didn't know. I wasn't in the pre-meeting. Sorry. Never mind. Scratch that.
I don't know
Edit
what you're
that out,
talking
Dave.
about, but maybe I'll know in a little bit. Go ahead.
We'll find out. Everybody, welcome to the Minnesota Credit Union Network studios, deep within the recesses of MBC Studios here in Northeast Minneapolis. We have Gabe Noah pushing the ones and twos in the other room, and we want to always, hopefully, find out that you're watching us. As Gabe just entered the room, it threw me off because I was doing so well before that. That you're watching us on YouTube.
Is this because he's wearing sandals?
He is wearing sandals and
Oh, I missed that.
and jeans.
I'm on location from St.
He's
Paul
wearing
this
his
week.
rolled
Yeah.
up jeans and sandals. Were you fishing?
Exposed.
Were you fishing, Opie? Where you been?
Exposed toes.
He was a paw down at the fishing hole.
All right.
So yeah, Javier is the St. Paul cultural correspondent reporting live
Yeah.
in the field.
Reporting live from St. Paul.
Yes.
Yes.
On site.
Yeah.
So anyway, hopefully you're watching us on YouTube. We want you to watch that as much as possible. We're starting to post more. Gabe's working really hard getting us clips, which we're, I think at least Javier and I have been posting them on TikTok. So
Great.
that's fun.
That is fun.
That's new and fun. So Amy,
Yeah.
I have not seen you all day, which is very rare.
I know. 24/7. I've been out in Minnesota. I've been exploring Fergus Falls and St. Cloud and visiting our children's museums. There's a new children's museum in St. Cloud that's just opened.
And
it's
is sick.
It is sick.
If you have children, you should take them to the St. Cloud Great River Children's Museum because it is awesome.
Yep, it's amazing.
Is this a client?
Yes.
Yeah, but like objectively,
it's
it is
sick.
awesome.
They're not just touring them. That would be creepy.
Just not wandering around. Will you let us in your children's museums? No reason.
Allison, do you have children? No.
No. Amy,
Sure.
I hope to have grandchildren soon.
What's so special about this children's museum?
Well, it's brand new. It's brand new, and it's just really something to see. It's all the latest and greatest in Children's Museum. The exhibits are incredible. They've got this, like, you can run through the clouds. They've got all these, like, rope ladders and rope tunnels that are going through. It's really cool.
And if you're wondering if Amy Koch is a fan of a water table, the answer is yes.
That's a yes.
She was hogging the hurricane from the kids.
No, my boat got stuck in the hurricane. And then
Well,
the assistant who was there helped me free it.
So it's good enough.
And there were some kids in the way. That's what happened.
yeah.
You knocked kids out of
No, not knocked.
Yeah.
Ask
Banned
them
from
to
the St. Cloud
politely
Children's Museum.
move-
Yes.
St. Cloud Children's Museum.
Yeah.
They have water table.
It's got to be good if you have to go to St. Cloud for it. So
Revitalizing downtown.
Yeah.
One
Yep.
museum at a time.
One museum at a time.
So that's so that's where I was, Brian. It was pretty
Awesome.
good. Allison and I.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes. Did you lose
Are you
your
gonna move-
place thinking about
I did.
thinking about Gabe's rolled up
I was
pants
thinking
and
about his
sandals?
pants. I was thinking about Gabe's pants again. When I should have been thinking about our good friends at Bradshaw and Bryant.
Yeah. Well, those thong sandals should be a crime.
Yeah.
I need repretation.
Yes.
I am the victim
Where
of a
would
crime.
Gabe call if he gets prosecuted?
I have been injured.
Oh yeah, that's it. I have a lawsuit.
Of a personal injury.
Who would I call?
Gabe has feelings too, guys.
I mean, it's as good. It's as good as the Donald Trump lawsuit of CBS. Like it's
It's fair.
as valid.
It's
you know.
valid.
My injury is those toes.
So anyway, Bradshaw and Bryant, their entire team of attorneys and staff, is dedicated to providing the legal advice you need, combined with the service and personal attention you deserve. If you have questions about how they can assist you with a personal injury, wrongful death, or criminal defense matter, do not hesitate to contact them. Consultations are free. Please contact them at 800-770-7008 or at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, I wasn't here last week, so
It was the Amy and Javi show,
Amy and Hobby show.
Yeah,
and we
We
covered
talked-
Epstein.
talk about Epstein, more Epstein stuff.
And Nicole Mitchell. It's hard to believe that it had only been a week, within the week, that the former Senator Nicole Mitchell was finally convicted on 2 counts of felony burglary and having burglary tools. So we talked
Yeah.
about Senator cat burglars.
And so Governor Walz now has set a time for the special elections for both the cat burglar seat and Senator Bruce Anderson from your old area.
And we did talk about Senator Anderson last week as well. So he had just passed away.
How much of his district now was your district?
In almost entire, well, all of his district. What happened is I just had a bigger district because of population growth. But yeah, then with redistricting, it got smaller. They sort of halved it now. Wright County is now in 2 pieces. So all of it.
So the special elections for both will be held on Tuesday, November 4th. And then if they need to, a special primary would be on August 26th.
I will not be surprised if there's not a primary in the Wright County seat. Everything I'm hearing is a lot of folks jumping in the field, county commissioners. I mean, so the last special election that we had was for when I ran in 2005. So now 20 years ago. And it's just obviously a very Republican area. And these seats don't open very often, and there's also just all the local electeds tend to be Republicans. So when I ran, I had an endorsement battle with Drew Emmer, who is the uncle but younger than Tom Emmer.
Yeah.
And then, because big Catholic families. And then a county commissioner, Pat Swatsky from Monticello. So 3 of us ran an endorsing convention. A week later, Commissioner Swatsky ran against me in a primary. So I won the endorsement. I won the primary 60-40. And then I had a 3-way general election.
Phrasing.
Phrasing. It was we had the Democrat, myself, and then a city council member from Buffalo jumped in as an independent. So anything can kind of happen in these special elections, and especially with something. This was a surprise, obviously, so I'm hearing a lot of names. And I'm not hearing. What I'm hearing is a lot of county commissioners. So I'm hearing a couple county commissioners jumping in, a couple fairly active Republican activists. Anyway, there's quite a few names in there, and I expect there may be more added. Not the House members. I'm not hearing Joe McDonald or Marion Rarick. I'm hearing others.
I have not heard that, but the Buffalo seat is probably more red than the Woodbury seat is blue.
Yes.
The Woodbury seat is pretty solidly a lean Democrat area. But I'm hearing, is it true that both state representatives in the Woodbury area are in? Because I know that Representative Hemmingson Yeager is in, and the other side I think is Ethan Chott. Do we know
Yep.
is he officially in?
That I don't know.
Okay.
But we've
I
heard.
believe so.
Yeah.
Because because once again, what that does is, okay, let's just say that either Cha or Hemmingson Yeager then becomes a senator. Well, then that necessitates us having another special election for one House seat or the other. And
which would break a record, by the way. The record of special elections in a year is 6. We are at 6 right now after these are completed. And so should there be one for a House seat in either Wright County or in Woodbury, because a House member runs and wins, which, could happen still in Buffalo as well, right? So anything can happen. Representative McDonald might run, and then he would presumably win, and then there'd be a special. So 7 would break the record.
And we have to ask ourselves, are special elections really special anymore?
Not anymore. Well, and for the St. Paul cultural correspondent, I forgot to put this on the run sheet, but we're also hearing that State Representative Cowley Herr is exploring a potential run for mayor of St. Paul against Melvin Carter, and that comes as a little bit of a surprise since you have a sometimes popular mayor from the same party. Kind of as a St. Paul guy, what are you hearing about that, Javier?
Well, now that the city's under attack.
Yeah, literally under attack.
Literally under attack.
Cyber attack, which we'll get to in a bit. I've heard that rumor. I've heard the rumor from well-placed sources, and I think that Blois also. I literally can't believe it because it just seems so bizarre. Of a decision for Representative Herr to make, just because it's like we're close to Labor Day. Like there's just not a whole lot of time to put together.
When is the because you have to? When do you have to? What's the drop dead date for signing up to run?
12th.
August 12th. So it's a really late date that people can jump in a race for mayor, which happens in November. We're talking about the election in November.
They could jump in late. The question, do you have enough time to put together infrastructure?
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree.
Absolutely.
And it seems like I've yet to hear what she would be running on, right? Like there isn't a big thing like in the city that I think a lot of individual issues here and there that some groups or another might be upset about, but stringing them all together just means weird for an incumbent state legislator, and then who has and the mayor, both of whom have labor endorsements, both of whom have sort of traditional party endorsements, and who at this late in the game, I would imagine that endorsements would stay with the mayor.
Well, and I suspect that Chairwoman Herr, is looking at St. Paul, and because St. Paul right now is not really passing the eye test. There's a lot of problems in St. Paul, and we've talked about them on this show ad nauseum. I don't know that they get pinned to Mayor Carter specifically, certainly not in the same way that Mayor Frey kind of is front and center on some of the issues in Minneapolis. And St. Paul, flies under the radar, and it does now, and it always has. But I guess not knowing enough about kind of the internal, Democrat politics in St. Paul, I don't know how much of a groundswell or fractionalized party it is. So it's going to be interesting. Her seat is not up until her House seat until 26, so she would be able to run, and that without having to give up her House seat.
It'll be. I'm interested to see if this comes through, and the demographics of the city. The first thing everyone have noted about the race is that one of the largest voting blocks in the city is Hmong, and Representative Herr is Hmong, and the broader Asian American group would be even larger, but there's no. In the past, there haven't necessarily been voting blocks that would be pan-Asian. Which is not to say she couldn't build that, but even if she did enormous work turning out Hmong folks, the thing I've heard is that the one thing I've heard is that she wanted him to have a contested fight, which seems like something for my neighbor to decide to run, not for like an incumbent state legislator. That seems, weird.
Well, we'll keep an eye on that because that'll be super interesting to
It would
see
be
how it.
very juicy.
I will keep reporting from St.
We're
Paul.
gonna
St. Paul.
need you to stay right there,
On the
Javier,
ground, reporting
and
live.
keep the news coming.
This is Javier
On the west
Murillo.
side, which unlike downtown looks lovely.
Downtown is rough. Let me tell
Downtown is
you,
rough, man.
Downtown St. Paul, Mayor Carter, better get on
What's
that.
a little poop in the skyway?
So much.
Oh,
poop.
it's so dangerous down there now. It is just.
It's not great.
Ugh.
No. So my daughter was just in San Francisco, and she, is a music person, and she's very, very, very progressive. She loved everything about it. And I said, "Was there a lot of poop?" She's like, "There was a lot of poop, Dad." Mm-hmm. So you can't. Nobody. No one supports that. But anyway, we're
No, they don't.
they don't support the poop. I don't know. They don't do anything about it, but they don't
They
support
don't
it.
support it.
Yeah, they won't.
They
I
won't-
mean,
they're just not gonna.
just gonna let it sit
Yeah.
there. So anyway, we had another just a lot of weird stuff going on. So a man was accused this week of trespassing on the Minnesota State Capitol grounds
Whoa, this is
3
weird.
times in 24 hours. Dominic Peace, 36, was arrested by state troopers Saturday evening after he was found by Capitol security officers inside the Capitol around 11:30 p.m. And then on Friday, the day before, the Department of Public Safety said that Peace was naked and nonviolent and appeared to be experiencing mental health issues. So no one's saying that this was, a targeted attack or anything
No.
that was supposedly, had anything to do with a sitting legislator. However, with everything that has happened, it is very disconcerting that
Right, that
it's so
without
easy
a
to
big
breach.
plan, so it was so easy to breach the Capitol.
Yeah.
That's it. It brings, I think, into a lot of questions that have been going on. I've been, frankly, there's been a lot of news stories lately talking about what will happen with Capitol security, and I think. I have always been one of I want the state capitol to be the people's house. I want people to have access, but we are one of a very few handful of state capitals now that don't have metal detectors or have some security that tightens things up. And it's hard. I can't in good faith say there doesn't need to be that. There has to be some increase in security, whether it's manpower, whether it's using some sort of technology. I know that they are doing some additional, some funding potentially for legislators for their homes, which is also a good idea. But I think there's just going to. Something has to be done. Now, look, this doesn't mean that there's any, I've also been one about transparency and wanting to see more public committee hearings and all of those things. And I still think those need to happen. I still think it needs to be the people's house and that people need to be welcomed in. And I've been very disappointed in the transparency around conference committees and committee hearings in the last few years. I think it's gotten worse. But if we're going to have people in those committee hearings, and I think we absolutely should, then we have to make sure that legislators and the public are kept safe. And that's going to mean more security and more security costs.
Our Capitol has a lot of doors.
A lot of
doors that you
does.
can go in and out of, and that are not attended to. So I think kind of limiting the access just by entrances and exits to the Capitol, in addition to increased precautions. But this gentleman obviously going through a pretty severe mental health crisis. I did appreciate the way that the sergeant, when they notified House and Senate, just staff, they did refer to him as disrobed, which was very better than the way that KSTP.
Well, I think he was in the Senate chamber, so of course they would say disrobed.
Exactly. It was
naked.
very.
In the House, they'd say naked, but in the Senate, they say
exactly
disrobed.
what I thought. In the House, they're naked, and in the
was-
Senate, there was a disrobed gentleman experiencing a health crisis.
A number of decades ago, I was in South Carolina and I was doing work down there, and I was with a group of South Carolina legislators, and one of them turned to me, because I was the furthest north person there, so they were fascinated by how we do things up here. But he said, "Son, do you know the difference between naked and naked? Well, naked means you ain't got no clothes on. Naked means you ain't got no clothes on and you're up to something. Now,
Aren't they fair?
now,
Accurate.
now,
It was naked.
in
in that
a- in a-
case.
He was naked.
in a different time, I think that this probably would have been something that we could have like had sustained laughter on. But seeing as though the worst case scenario of violence against legislators did happen this year, I know that there was at least one state representative that I spoke with, and I saw online a couple other ones who really were distressed by how kind of easy it was for this person to get, and if this was somebody who didn't have all of their faculties, what would happen with an organized person or an organized group that did have the intent to do something wrong. And so this is something that is going to be, it might not be a thing for us as lobbyists or activists, but I think that the representatives and senators are definitely going to be bringing this up with the sergeant's office and others that are in charge of protecting and keeping the Capitol safe. Not to mention the people in it, but also there's priceless artwork in there and all kinds of other things. So this was something that turned out to not be as nefarious as it could have been, but still, in light of everything that's happened with Senator Hoffman and Speaker Hortman, that it's just something that is another thing that just makes us feel exposed. I have worked in the Capitol. This will be my 26th year. I was there for 9/11. And then after that, all they did is make us wear our badge on the outside of our clothes. Mm-hmm. So I've always been someone like Amy who has said that people need to be able to petition their government, and things that keep the elected people further away from the people that elect them is bad. Honestly, obviously, I can't really argue that now. There's just going to have to be security measures put into place that are going to be disruptive to the public. As lobbyists, we'll always have access, and that's why this isn't about me. I have phone numbers. I can text, I can call, I can email, but it's the regular people, the real people who need to be there to petition their government that ultimately are going to lose in this scenario. But I don't think there's an alternative that's reasonable.
I mean, Hennepin County Government Center, you have to, it's more secure than the Minnesota State Capitol.
Yeah, and thankfully, everyone was because to be clear, no one was in danger in this instance. The person was having a mental health episode, but what's inexplicable is that he got in the Senate chambers.
Yeah,
that's the part that I just like. If I were a legislator,
right? I mean, the doors are locked, and there's usually a fence. There's a gate cage. Yeah.
I mean, normally, he wouldn't have been able to get in there if he had a glass of water.
Well, of course not. Those desks are antiques.
Yeah.
And
Paul Gazelka tweeting that, well, that doesn't seem to meet the Senate dress code.
okay.
I mean, he is known for his jokes.
Yeah.
And charisma.
He's funny, just not
funny. I like Paul Gazelka just fine. Getting back to St. Paul, or staying in St. Paul, there's a pretty serious cyber attack that happened on the city of St. Paul, bad enough that it necessitated Governor Walz calling in the National Guard cyber unit.
Did you know we had one?
I did not.
No, I don't think they want us to know we have one, but now we know we have one.
What are
Javier,
I'm very
happening in
worried
St.
about
Paul?
you and your personal information.
And in fact, if they attacked
the first headline I saw was that there was a cyber attack and the National Guard was called. I'm like, what is the National Guard going to do? Then read further. But the weird thing is that it's a day after, and we still don't know a lot more.
No, we don't.
No.
We know it was an intentional external force, that it was not that it was not an accident, it was not a glitch, that it was an intentional attack by a criminal element from outside the city. That's all we know.
So they shut down Wi-Fi, the city's Wi-Fi. So there's some city services that are disrupted. 911 and 311 are still working, but like submitting online forms and things like that you cannot do. this I think it was Baltimore that had something like this, and it was a ransomware. It's a ransom attack where they steal data and they held the city hostage for money. Yesterday the mayor said that was not
Right.
Yeah.
No ransom
Not to this
requested.
point,
At
yeah.
least that's what he. Yeah.
that it is not until this point at least. I was trying to because he definitively said it was not that, right? Not that he did not say that he failed to say that. Was that
No,
phrase-
No, he said there was no ransom
Yeah,
requested
to this point.
To this point.
You know, there could be one obviously tomorrow,
Right,
but,
right.
but to this
Yeah.
point, it isn't that. Though I did see a national talking head kind of wonder, was this a lower level test run? You know, that, you know, is somebody then now going to see, okay, this is how a city reacts to this, then use it to refine its, you know, and probably
Attack on something bigger.
pure
or-
speculation, but yes, but that the next thing was going to be either a bigger city or portion of the government. So once again, if the world wasn't what it was, we can laugh about, you know, librarians needing to learn the Dewey Decimal System again. But this is something that probably we have not heard the last of, and could obviously have some serious repercussions. A friend of the program, I won't say who or what company, but she had her company, you know, kind of fall under one of these ransom attacks, and they ultimately just had to let their stuff go. They couldn't pay it, and so they never got it back, and they had to start over.
I think I read, so engaging the National League of Cities has been building up their cybersecurity resources for cities across the country, because a city gets hit by a ransomware attack, I think like every couple days, like a different city in the United States. So this is not unique, but you know, it's the first one that we are aware of in Minnesota. But this has been an ongoing and more common situation. So
Wow.
it's terrifying. First they did Ukraine. Next.
Well, now,
Paul.
and you know, and not to get us off on Ukraine, but evidently Zelensky's having some internal problems now in Ukraine. I read an article, so we got to keep our eye on that. It's like as soon as we start treating Putin like the a-hole that he is, now all of a sudden Zelensky's having trouble with his own folks. But moving on to national, so because we can't have a show without talking about the Epstein stuff, so Ghislaine Maxwell has been approached by members of Congress to see if she would you know, follow a subpoena and you know, testify. And as of now, she is saying no, that she wouldn't do that, but that she has kind of said, you know, that there are some things that they could give her, location.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, location and immunity and all this that would make it easier for her to do that in the future.
So it's a House Oversight and Government Reform subcommittee, and they're following up on they had a recent vote to subpoena Maxwell amid mounting pressure, obviously. So this is all in response to right before they left early on break, the House was about to have a vote on the release of all FBI files associated with Epstein, which suddenly and inexplicably the Trump administration is sitting on, or saying
what happened?
it's a boring story and there's nothing there.
But then why is Ghislaine in jail? let her
also
go.
saying-
At this point, I don't think we need to say that it's inexplicable. At this point, it's pretty clear that Donald Trump is in there. Donald Trump, is in an incriminating way, or at least embarrassing way, and they're doing everything they can to protect him, including now having the right-wing news media call Ghislaine Maxwell a victim.
Okay, this woman was
that's
complicit
the
in
new
the
talking
rape
point,
of
that she-
underage
that-
children for decades.
Just trafficking
And
of children.
I say, why are we even waiting? Like, slap the
Well-
cuffs on her, haul her ass in, and make her speak for what the crimes that she committed. I have no time for her demands or her BS. I don't care what happens
Well, I
to
mean,
her.
it was basically her giving them a middle finger, because it's just the conditions, like they could not possibly agree to them. But you know, like she's the person who recruited Virginia Dufresne from Mar-a-Lago, from as a towel girl, Virginia Dufresne is the woman who just a few months ago took her own life.
Yep.
She has and her family directly attributes it to the abuse that she suffered at the hands of Jeffrey Epstein. And Virginia Dufresne is the person who Donald Trump yesterday on the plane back from Scotland actually said one of the reasons he was mad at Jeffrey Epstein was that he stole his people, including and they asked about her. He said, "Yeah, I think that's one of the people that Jeffrey stole," which is weird language, but So Trump keeps digging himself a bigger hole.
And this is not going away, by the way, because House Republicans have been pushing Comer, who is the chair of this committee, to make because there's talk of the demands are that also the interview would be private and that there would be immunity, and of course any kind of House committee hearing this woman and not making that public, having it behind doors and cutting some kind of immunity deal before would be completely unacceptable. And I think that is more and more what House members are hearing as they're home on their August break.
Well, we should maybe try to get Mike Bryant on a future show, because I'm curious. So obviously, and I've said on this show, and many others have as well, obviously. But you can't have victims without victimizers. So we know that people have been convicted of these crimes that have happened. So there is obviously court testimony that is under seal.
Yes.
And what I would like some professional information on is who decides it? Is that something that the victims themselves and their families requested? Is that something that the courts or the government decide? And so obviously that there has to be information in those files that would give us answers to some of the things that we are looking for. And I'm just curious, I would be curious to know, obviously you don't seal something for no reason, but what's the process of sealing and unsealing? And, now that some of the people involved have passed away, does that impact those decisions at all?
What we do know is that lawyers for the victims have said that no one from the federal government has reached out to them to talk to them about any of this, including extending immunity when the president's personal lawyer, now deputy attorney general, went down to Florida to interview her for 10 hours. How bizarre is that? The number 2 at the AG's office went down there. And gave her immunity. Gave her I forget what kind of immunity they called it, so that they could speak then. They are making it really they're really paving the way for her to either get off entirely, because she now there's new evidence. The president says all of this was a hoax and all this, or it. I mean, it genuinely looks like Trump is considering clemency or pardoning her.
Well, I mean, they tie that to the sweetheart deal that Jeffrey Epstein was handed by the federal government without consulting the victims and their families in 2008, which a judge then determined violated the Crime Victims' Rights Act, because he was about to go on trial and he wandered in, and the federal government under Alex Acosta, and you can look this up, folks, this is just real, who the former labor secretary in the first Trump administration, gave him a sweetheart deal
when all this came out.
Who resigned when this all came out. So he was not working for the Trump administration, by the way, when this happened. He was in Florida, right? And so he cut the deal, let him walk, and we don't have any information on that. We have no idea what was cut, and it wasn't just Florida cutting a sweetheart deal for Epstein. It was cutting a sweetheart deal for all co-conspirators, named and unnamed, all of them. A get out of jail free pass for all of, not just him, not just Maxwell, but all the turds that were on his island and contributed and raped these young women. And I have no time for it. I don't think the American people have any time for it. And the pressure is mounting for our government to come clean on what happened here. And a secret behind the scenes House meeting is not going to cut it.
So Javier, you had added Texas redistricting to the to the run sheet. So the floor is yours.
The Texas legislature. First thing to know about this redistricting plan in Texas is that Texas Republicans did not ask for it, do not want it. The folks in the legislature, they don't want it. The members of the congressional delegation, they don't want it. The person who wants it is Donald Trump. So he called them to say you should redraw the maps, and so they're redrawing that. They've put out some proposed maps. Like Texas, like the state of Texas is already gerrymandered, and so people of color in particular have less representation in Texas because Republicans designed districts precisely so that they to create Republican majority districts. So it looks like it's going to go through because the Democrats don't have the votes, are powerless to stop it there. It might set off an arms race. I think one of the interesting things that has been happening in the last 10, 15 years is that blue states have gone the route of doing independent commissions, and then red states have not just retained the power for the legislature, for politicians to pick their own districts, but now the Supreme Court has basically given them free rein to do it whatever the hell they want. They're about to do away completely with the Voting Rights Act, but also the Supreme Court has said that political gerrymandering is fine. That's literally politicians picking their own voters. So we'll see if it sets off an arms race, because there are a handful of Democratic states that are saying, well, if you do that, then I think Maryland and California. But yeah, it's a shit show. And
yeah. Well, and Maryland's probably just been looking for a reason, because they have an interesting gerrymandering history recently as well. Let's go to Spanks and things. I'm sorry, plugs. Let's go first.
Javier, anything to plug? Morning.
We have we've had a good. We don't have any new patrons this last week, but we've had a good month. So just want to say, good job, listeners, for those of you who are not being dicks, because if you are listening and enjoy our show and can afford it but are not given some, you are kind of being dicks. So if you'd like to join our Not a Dick Club, please go to www.patreon.com/wrongabouteverythingpodcast. And that is my only plug, I think. Yeah. By the way, guys, I'm going to be away the next 2 weeks in Puerto Rico.
Well, and I think we on our production meeting, Amy and I are gone next week. We're out of town for work, so maybe there might not be a show next week. We'll figure.
You know what I'm going to be out of town for?
What are you going to be out of town for?
The Bad Bunny concert.
I was just going to say, I want to swim to Puerto Rico. I want to go so
you
bad.
You are going?
Oh, yeah. I have tickets a week from Saturday.
I need videos. I need still photos. I need...
Girl, I have different versions of options of my outfit for the thing. So super excited. So yeah, wish me well. Puerto Rico has been shut down by this concert. It's a cultural revival.
Amazing.
So. I bet.
Well, I will be seeing Boys to Men next week at the National Conference of State Legislatures, where they're headlining. So
nice.
Yeah.
I was on TRT World News just yesterday, roundtable panel discussion on the EU trade deal that they cut with Trump, where Trump ate von der Leyen's breakfast when it came to a trade deal. He cut a very sweet deal with the EU, and they are not equipped to negotiate on this. So you can catch me on roundtable.
Do I get to see Boys to Men?
You guys are leaving.
Oh. So no.
No,
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
So it's really just the end of the road for me there.
The only other pun is the other song that I won't be making a pun about.
Yeah, maybe don't do that. Anyway, so we might not have a show next week because it looks, I think, all four of us are gone. But every Tuesday you can watch or listen to Amy and me on the BS show with Bob Sansevier, who is 100 yards outside of the new Senate.
The open Senate is, yeah.
So anyway, so that won't they won't have Bob Sansevier to kick around there at all. And then on August 7th, I'm going to be performing some comedy at the Rockland Riverside Music Festival up in Sauk Rapids, Minnesota. So
they said you'd never play Sauk Rapids.
They said I'd never play Sauk Rapids, but evidently I will. So we'll get back from Boston, and then I'll have to go up to Sauk Rapids. That's all I have at this point. So let's do Spanks and Thanks. Who wants to go first?
I can go first. So my spank, this is just a horrific story that's still unfolding. A Virginia city councilman was doused in gasoline and set on fire in an attack at his office. And it is unclear. A couple things. One, there's some difference in that apparently the city councilman, Lee Vogler, and his attacker were known to each other. It's not clear if they were known just through his business as the councilman, but they're not saying this is politically motivated, as we, of course, knew very early on in the attacks here. Also, the city councilman has survived. He was doused in gasoline. He actually ran away, and the man followed him and lit him on fire. And so, this is just another case of just like truly horrific violence happening. To an elected official, and again, I will just say to people, please, let's take the rhetoric down. Let us punish to the full extent these monsters that are doing this, but also. The humanity seems to have gone out of politics entirely, and we're in a very, very, very dangerous time. So,
this one Nick said was a personal matter.
They're not saying personal. Just that they were known to each other before this.
I read something where I got the impression, I think like Javier
that might have been a personal matter.
that it was something that was not due to his connection, but I don't know that we know yet, but I think that was what at least the first thing I heard.
They said it seems, I think, that it may have been a person, but so that is my spank. My thank, though, is to the beautiful town of Buffalo and the beautiful county of Wright. I was at the wake for Senator Bruce Anderson this past weekend. The wake was on Sunday. The funeral was on Monday. I attended the wake, and I was reminded how much I just love that area. We'll see. They deserve really good representation to come out of there. The fire department had put out the big red truck with a huge American flag draped from it outside the Covenant Church. I pulled up. I was waiting outside for a friend to join me when a car passed, and it turned out to be my dad and his wife who were coming to the wake as well, along with Joyce, Diane, my stepmom's really good friend, who had a story to tell about the funeral luncheon scandal that was taking place at her church, where she is normally in charge, and the pastor had to call her. I'm not going to say what happened, but the pastor knows what she did, and there's some controversy there, and it's too spicy for the podcast. I'm not going to bring this matter to the front, but let me just say, Joyce had some words, and all of this happened to remind me.
We're spilling tea about Buffalo.
Yeah, I'm not saying the church. I'm not saying the pastor. I'm not even giving Joyce's last name.
Yeah, it's like a blind item. Anyone listening from Buffalo knows exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, did you hear about Joyce?
Buffalo talk right here.
This is Buffalo talk, but that pastor knows what she did. And so, yeah, this is time for Buffalo chat. Ooh, Joyce. Anyway, I was reminded again of the place that I come from, and I'm so proud of you. And I wish everyone who's running well in the next election, and let's get a senator to follow the footsteps of Senator Anderson. There we go. That's my thank. Buffalo.
Are you proud of Joyce?
You know what? Joyce has got a lot of fire, and I got to give it to her. I'm not saying she's right. I'm not picking sides. I'm not even going to pick sides in this controversy. I will not. But
Flip-flopper, waffler.
waffler.
Good thing you don't represent Buffalo anymore.
That's right.
Who wants to go next?
I can go. I can't wait for the next installment of
Buffalo Chat. This has been Buffalo Chat.
Well, so my spank this week goes to the Pentagon. Shocker! Remember when we were told that the Kingdom of Qatar was giving Donald Trump or the President of the United States a completely free jet? Well, we're starting to get a sense of the price tag on upgrading that jet, which probably entailed taking the whole thing apart because they have to find all the spyware that was certainly put all over it.
Certainly was put all over it.
100% was put in there.
All over it. But it's approaching about $1 billion, and the New York Times reported on this that the money that they started to spend on it, they took it from a classified pot of money that is being taken from a nuclear project, like a nuclear weapons project. So it's going to cost the American taxpayers about $1 billion. Remember as well that they're still actually working on the Air Force One, the new ones of those. So those are still on the budget as well. So there we go. So that's my spank. My thank this week, 2 Israeli human rights groups made international news because for the first time, Israeli human rights groups acknowledged that what Israel is engaged in Gaza is genocide. The Physicians for Human Rights and B'Tselem they put out a statement together on this basis, and they point specifically to the starvation, obviously, that is happening right now. Starvation, which many human rights groups and independent observers and reporters all say is due not only to Israel not allowing the trucks to come in, but that there have been deliberate, and this is reported by Israeli media, deliberate ordered incidents of Israeli soldiers shooting and killing people in line for the little bit of food that does come in. So it's great that what has been obvious for a very long time, that this war is one of genocide, is now added to that voice are Israeli human rights groups, and this madness there must end, and that is my spank.
Allison?
All right, I will start with the previewed at the beginning of the episode, so those that are still tuning in. My spank this week is for Catherine, aka Katy Perry. Yes, who was spotted on a date this week with former Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who I think we can all agree is the Temu version of Orlando Bloom. But is this so perhaps, they would make a good couple because both have very revolting qualities and I would say worldviews. I know, liberal Allison, why don't you hate Justin Trudeau so much? I think
Blackface.
Kind of the black, it started with blackface. There was a lot of hypocritical and what I would call like paternalistic and hypocrisy statements from him and policies. And he had a lot of great ideas, and the follow through wasn't even attempted. I don't know. He just, I think, left office in a disappointing manner. So perhaps after a disappointing album, a disappointing term as prime minister, they can find solace with each other. But I'm just thinking Katy Perry story also because it feels like a little bit of a publicity stunt. But she is the talk of the culture this week with all of the things this year being an astronaut. Again, that album, trash. And now going on a date with
And her tour is
Trudeau.
going poorly as well, I hear.
well,
Well, it's
well,
no Buffalo chat, but certainly interesting.
He recently split up with someone.
Orlando Bloom.
Bloom.
Oh, that's why you said Timu Orlando Bloom. I didn't.
Yeah.
But so this is her first date, Justin Trudeau.
Well,
Who knows? I mean, I'm not that much of a stalker, but perhaps.
Like a stalker, small s.
But yeah, small s. They're not gonna like proactively do anything. No, I think it's her first public date. But Orlando Bloom has been spotted romping around Europe with some hot young models. So this is her revenge.
Yeah, good job.
Yes. It's really, I used to be a fan, but this whole like being an astronaut kissing the earth, you lost me, and once you lose me, I am gone. All right,
That's what Orlando Bloom said to her.
It was also the astronaut thing that was a straw that broke the camel's back for Orlando as well.
I wonder if that had anything to do with Joyce.
Don't bring that up.
I wonder.
Don't you take Joyce's name out of your
wonder.
mouth. You don't know Joyce.
I don't know Joyce. But does Joyce know Justin Trudeau? I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Joyce is a very powerful woman. That's all I'm
right.
saying.
That's right.
All right, my think this week, it aired after the podcast last week, but South Park is back, season 27, in the most delicious episode where they just mocked to the umpteenth degree, mocked President Trump, kind of mocked Paramount for the concessions that they made, and then the cancellation of the Colbert. Shout out to Marianne Nessie, Stephen Colbert's #1 fan, who was devastated by the cancellation. But anyways,
Well, if she had $40 million, then she could have kept him on.
she had $40 million. I would not be here. But I look forward to the continuation of the roasting of not just our political leaders in power, but our corporate power structures. And next week it appears that Cartman will be turned into Charlie Kirk, which is amazing to see the similarities with just a tiny little bit of hair on top of Cartman's already existing face. It's beautiful. And also thanks to everyone watching it, because South Park is above and beyond the #1 show being streamed on Paramount Plus. So can't cancel your #1 show that you just paid $150 billion for.
Yeah, with a B. With a B.
With a B.
Well, and just to show how far the Republican Party has changed, I can remember back when I was staff that there was a term. It was called South Park Republicans, and what it was that at that time, young people were rejecting some of the hypocritical parts of the left, but it wasn't based on religion. It was based on all these other factors, and at the time, South Park was very much, shining a light on a lot of things that conservatives would have said was the
Well, they're
left.
equal opportunity. They mess with whoever is going to be messed with.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's satire, and it's in its best form.
I mean, they went after Muhammad. I mean, they had. So they have shown that they take the First Amendment very seriously, and we're all better for it. Huge fan. Okay, sorry.
Wait, before we close, Amy, can we go back into Buffalo?
Well, we'll see. Yes.
So, did you say you said her pastor? So this is not a Catholic person.
No.
So in Buffalo, the Catholics and the Protestants get along well?
Oh, yeah.
In
It's Buffalo. It's a little
everybody-
slice of heaven.
Everybody gets along in Buffalo.
It's a slice of heaven. Yeah. Catholics, Protestants, Republicans, Democrats.
Jews.
You're
There are no
Democrat.
Democrats
Yes.
there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, well, I met one. I met one at
Yeah,
at the.
you did.
At the,
You've been to Wright County. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went to a wedding where the priest practically instructed the couple to have sex right there.
Well, no, it was just.
See,
it's-
everybody gets
You're there
along
too,
in
Brian.
Buffalo.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh,
Well, you can't make. You got to make more Catholics.
that
that was it. That was.
that dinner at Norm's, man.
okay.
Amy, I cannot-
Listen, you will be back
love
to
this
Buffalo in October for a very big event, and I'll need you guys. That's right. So
For a wedding.
for a wedding. That's right.
Is Buffalo near?
Shout out to
Eagan?
Maybe
that
Buffalo
hat- maybe that
near
hat's
Eagan?
what-
You know what? We missed the Clint shout out today. I'm so sorry. Woo, Clint.
Clint's
Ow!
there. Hey, Clint.
Hey, Allison,
Yeah.
we will report live to do the Buffalo report
Oh,
from Amy's wedding.
Yes, we will. On the ground, wedding day correspondent. Similar, I assume, to the royal wedding.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Do I get to do a spanking thing?
Oh, yeah, sorry, sure.
Oh, we forgot about you.
Yeah, we forgot about me.
But you were
Sorry,
dumb.
we got into the wedding.
Well, no. Hey, I'm more interested in
Is
Buffalo
it about
stuff.
the wedding
It-
in Buffalo?
It is not, though it's about Sydney Sweeney, so that's fun.
Okay.
That's fun for some of us. And then my screen goes black. So my spank this week is going to be to just the far fringy progressive left who is taking extreme issue with some blue jean ads that Sydney Sweeney, the actress, is in. Now, in it, it's, Sydney Sweeney, who is a very sexualized person and is somebody who she has been willing to sell her bathwater. She has soap products that were made with, I think, bathwater. That
She's turning into the J-Lo of.
she's kind of so she is someone who is taking her sexuality and using it in a powerful way. And so people can look at these ads and they can say it's over sexualized. They could say that maybe it's unrealistic, a body image for young people, and that would all be fair. But in these ads, they make a play on the word jeans, where they say Sydney Sweeney has good jeans. And then she says, oh, my jeans are blue. Well, people are saying, oh my gosh, this is promoting eugenics. This is going to be something that they talk about in the history books. This is Nazism. This is all these things because of a pun on the word jeans. Now, the company that's promoting these ads, who is loving this, by the way, because their stock is way up because of this, is a company, American Eagle, that was founded by two Jewish people with currently a Jewish CEO. So it is ridiculous to say that this is a concerted effort to talk about eugenics. It's like tariffs. These people learned a new word and they don't know anything that happened before this. It's insulting. It's ridiculous. It's out of line. And if you want to start talking eugenics, well, let's talk about why Planned Parenthood was started and Margaret Sanger. They should read that part of Wikipedia. So anyway, that is my spank, because they've taken the bait, they've made it ridiculous, and once again, their whatever valid points they might have had are lost. My thank is going to be a couple weeks ago when I was on here. I talked about how a baseball player, Ryan Sandberg, who Gabe and I grew up watching, and he had cancer and kind of was making, his kind of final statements to his family, his teammates, and the public. He did, in fact, pass away this week. He was 65 years old, and before the show, Gabe and I were on YouTube watching his former teammates talk about him, burst into tears. So this is something that is just personal, because if you were a Cubs fan of my generation, Ryan Sandberg was the Chicago Cubs. So he was 65. He did get to lead a very important life, a long life, and I'm just glad that he got his statue outside of Wrigley Field before he passed. And with that, Rhino, RIP, number 23. With that, I am Republican strategist and Twin City Sugar, Brian McDaniel.
I'm proud to be from Buffalo, Amy Koch.
And I am Minneapolis cultural correspondent reporting live from the field, Allison Nessie.
Y yo soy de fucking R, which, well, look it up. Javier Murillo. I will be in Puerto Rico for 2 weeks. Bye.
And I'm Team Joyce, and we are
Wrong About Everything.
Well,
Have a
if you
great
knew the
time,
story.
Javi.
Have fun, Javier. Travel safe. When are you leaving?
I leave Sunday.
Okay.